Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're creating a roadmap for what is, truly, one of the most exciting and challenging adventures in education, guiding a gifted child's learning journey. Okay, so let's dive right into this.
Let's kick things off with a surprising truth, one that many parents of gifted kids find out pretty quickly. As Rachel from 7 in All, who was a gifted child herself, points out, this path isn't about being easier, it's about being different. In fact, it's often way more intense, more demanding, and it means you kind of need a whole new map.
So before we can even start charting a course, we've got to understand the landscape. And for a gifted mind, that landscape often involves incredible speed, these really deep and passionate interests, and just a constant, gnawing need for intellectual stimulation. As one person put it, for them, boredom is death. This isn't your typical terrain, so it requires a totally different kind of navigation.
And this brings us to a really crucial fork in the road, philosophically speaking. The default for many is to go up, right? Just accelerate the child into higher and higher grade levels. But the catch is, this can lead to them dealing with content that, while intellectually fine, just isn't emotionally or socially appropriate for their age. So what's the alternative? Well, you can go broad. Instead of only racing up the academic ladder, you expand their world sideways. You bring in music, coding, languages, geography, all these rich, age-appropriate challenges that really feed that boundless curiosity.
Okay, so if we embrace this go broad mindset, that immediately leads us to the first really big decision. What's the right formal educational path to actually support this kind of exploration?
The great news here is that there isn't just one map anymore. There's a whole growing ecosystem of really innovative schools and platforms out there. A lot of them are online, and they're designed specifically for learners who just don't fit into that traditional box.
Here you can see a really fascinating contrast in how they're approached. So on one side, you've got the US-based Davidson Academy. They group students purely by ability, not by their age, which creates this amazing community of true intellectual peers. Then on the other side, you've got the UK's King's Inner High. They stick to a more traditional age-based structure. But, and this is key, they offer the flexibility for students to take their big exams, their IGCSEs, early. So it gives a clear path for acceleration, but inside a structured system.
And believe me, the options are just huge. I mean, you can find schools like Sora Schools that focus entirely on project-based learning, or platforms like Athena's Advanced Academy where you can pick and choose fast-paced classes, almost like a la carte learning. And then you have these massive marketplaces like OutSchool, offering thousands of classes on literally everything imaginable, even social clubs that meet in virtual reality. It's all about finding new ways for these kids to connect and find their tribe.
But look, formal schooling is only one piece of the puzzle. To really thrive on this kind of adventure, every learner needs a seriously powerful toolkit for their own self-directed exploration. And the tools we have access to today, they're more powerful than ever before.
Coding, for example, is a fundamental skill in this new toolkit. For most kids, the journey starts with something like visual block coding on a platform like Scratch. It's super intuitive, it's fun, they're dragging and dropping blocks to build games, and they don't even realize they're learning core programming logic. But for a lot of gifted kids, they will burn through that pretty fast. Their curiosity just outgrows the blocks, and they get hungry for the real deal. Text-based coding in professional languages like Python or Java, the stuff that actually powers the world.
Now, for what might be the most powerful tool in the modern kit, artificial intelligence. The big insight here is that we shouldn't think of AI as just a fancy calculator or an answer machine. We should see it as a tireless, expert tutor. It's a partner that can challenge you, explain a concept in a dozen different ways, and guide you to a much deeper understanding. But there's a catch. It only works if you know how to talk to it.
So how do you learn to talk to an AI? Well, researchers have come up with frameworks for this. It's called prompt engineering, and one of the best is CLEAR. It's an acronym that stands for concise, logical, explicit, adaptive, and reflective. Think of it this way. It's like giving a chef a detailed recipe for a chocolate cake instead of just wandering in and saying, hey, bake something tasty. When you're specific and clear, you guide the AI to give you exactly what you need.
You can even get more technical with it. You can fine-tune the AI's output with settings like temperature. Just think of it like a creativity dial. If you turn the temperature down low, you get very focused, predictable answers, which is great if you need a factual summary. But if you crank that temperature up, the AI gets more random, more creative, which is perfect for brainstorming wild new ideas for a school project.
Okay, so with all of these amazing schools and powerful tools, it's really easy to get lost in the how of it all. But we can't lose sight of our true north, our real destination. The goal isn't just to cram a brain full of facts. It's to nurture a mind that can truly flourish. This quote, it just captures that idea perfectly. It's from a story about a busy doctor who, every single night, read classic literature with his brilliant 10-year-old son. And the point is, the real education wasn't just in the words on the page. It was in that shared experience, the connection, the quiet joy of discovering something together. It was their special secret.
And that means we have to focus on the whole child. It means nurturing their social and emotional health so they feel like they belong, so they don't feel so alone. It means helping them battle that monster of perfectionism that can literally paralyze them with a fear of failure. And importantly, it means redefining success, letting go of the pressure that they must become a doctor or an engineer, and instead letting them find what truly makes their heart sing.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. What if the real goal of this entire complex, wonderful journey isn't to produce a specific outcome, a certain career, a list of awards? What if it's simply to equip a unique human being with the tools, the confidence, and the passion to set off on their very own lifelong adventure of joy and discovery? That might just be the most valuable gift we could ever give them.